Hi, my name's Adam. I'm one of the technical support engineers at Hosted Desktop. I'm going to show you some of the features of Outlook Web Access and how to access it. Outlook Web Access is an online version of the Outlook client that you can use to access your Exchange emails from any computer with an internet connection. If you go to our website, you can select the customer login option here and go down to webmail login. This will then open up this page. You can also get here by typing directly into your browser hdcloud.co.uk/OWA. Bring it to the same place. You can then log in using your email address and your password. The password for your email may not be the same as the password that you use to log into your hosted desktop account. And the first thing I'm going to show you is how to change this password. So as you can see, it's logged you into an interface that's fairly similar to the desktop Outlook client. And over here in the top right corner, you've got a few options here. One of them is titled Options. If you bring down that drop-down menu, you have the option here to change your password. If you put in your existing password, then you need to put in another password which meets the minimum complexity requirements. And then it will show you that that has been saved. Recommends that you close your browser window. This is because if you refresh, you'll see that you're now logged out. So you can go back to the page and you can log in again with the new credentials now. Yeah. So as you can see, it's a very similar interface to the normal Outlook client. You've got obviously all the emails that you've got here, and you've still got the preview pane over to the right here. You can double click any of the emails and it will open it up in its own browser window, giving you the similar options to what you'll get in your Outlook, such as the reply forward, but you also get the options to flag mail, as well as categorize mail, if you use any of those features. We'll close that one down for the moment. It also brings across all of your folders. So as you can see here, if I expand the inbox, we've got any of the subfolders that I've created here, as well as sent items, deleted items. And down the bottom here, you've also got search folders. So if you've created any search folders, these two are also brought across into your Outlook Web Access, which you can use from there. There's also the option to access another mailbox. So if in Outlook normally on the desktop you've got access to a colleague's mailbox, you can still access this through the webmail as well. In order to do this though, you need to go over to the top right corner where it says your name. You click on that, and it will say open another mailbox. You can then type your colleague's name or email address. In this instance, I'm going to use Steve Blogs. As you can see, I've done this before, so it prompts me. If I just hit enter, it will select that straight away. And then you can click open. It'll take a moment or two while it loads. As you can see, I've now been logged in to a similar interface, but this time I now have access to Steve's emails as opposed to my own. Again, to get back to your own, you just go back to the same thing, type your own name or address, and then it will just return you to normal. Next thing I'm going to show you is the calendars, which again, much like in Outlook on the desktop, you can access all the other options down here. So again, you've got calendars. You also have any shared calendars that your colleagues have. In this instance, I haven't. However, public folder calendars won't show up in this section. So again, much the same as in the Outlook client. You can select new. You can create appointments. You can also use the scheduling assistant. So if you were to pick a colleague, to then show along here whether any of us are busy, as you can see, both free for the next period of time. Again, with all the usual options on there that you'd find in Outlook. If you've made any changes, but you decide you don't want to do it and you click to close, it will prompt you first of all whether you want to stay on the page, whether you want to leave the page, as if you do, anything will be lost. If you need access to a shared calendar or a calendar you've got permission to that's not showing up in here, again, you have the option under Share to add a calendar. This particular account, however, doesn't have permissions to any other calendars, therefore I'm unable to do it. You can also share your own calendar and set the permissions on your calendar. And so as you can see, mine's only shared with this particular default account. If I was to go into this option here, I can then pick another character, another colleague. We're going to do Steve again in this example. I'm going to say he can view all the information, and I'm also going to request permissions from him. So when I send this, it will then send an email across to Steve requesting that and giving him access to my calendar. Which, if you now check again in the calendar permissions, you can see he's now got reviewer permissions. Again, contacts, any contacts you've got saved normally within your Outlook get transferred across, so you can see those in the web access as well. You also have the same with tasks. So any tasks that you have normally, you can access all of these through your web access too. Again, with you and complete as well as all. Now, if you do have public folders, you can still select the public folder options. You do have to go through the levels, however, to find the public folder that you want. So in this one, I'm just going to view the task calendar, and you can still see these things there. A little bit more long-winded than in the normal Outlook client, but unfortunately the web access doesn't have a facility to enable you to add that to your normal calendars. Next, I'm going to show you a few of the other options that are available in the web access. So again, if we go over to options here, you can see it's got a few of the most common ones are set up here. So we're going to look at automatic replies first of all. So again, very similar to what you see normally in the normal Outlook. If you were to go and set this up, you can turn the option on. You can set a time period between when you'd like the automatic replies to go. You can pop in any text you like here, and you can decide whether you only want to send it to people outside the organization or inside the organization. And you can also set it so that if this is checked, so that it sends emails to everyone outside, but only if they're in your own contact list. Next, we're going to look at inbox rules, which again, very similar to what you can set up in Outlook. Got a shortcut for it here, which will bring you across here. Now, any rules that you have got set up in Outlook already that run on the Exchange level will be showing here. So as you can see, I've already got a rule set up in place called thread blocks. Now I'm going to set up another rule just to demonstrate. So when you click new, it brings open a new window, and it gives you some predefined options here. So we're going to do this rule if mail was received from, and then it will automatically pop up the global address list by default, giving me options to choose one of my colleagues. You can also type an email address in here. So again, I'm going to use Steve again in this example. So you see the rule now states if a message arrives and it was received from Steve, now I can give it an action. So I'm going to move this to a folder. So you can see I've got an email folder here for Steve's emails. You can then leave the rule as that, or you can expand the more options. You can add an exception if there's something there that you'd like. So for example, if it includes certain words in the subject, then you can save that one. Save that one there. So now the rule, if a message is sent to me from Steve Blogs, it will move the email to the Steve's emails folder unless the subject line contains the words VIP. So you can see that rule is now in place there. Next, I'm going to show you some of the other settings that are available. So we'll go back to the main interface here. If you click on options, you'll see there's an option there to see all of the options. By default, it takes you to the My Account page, which just gives you the option to edit some information about yourself. You can pop in a couple of additional details if you wanted to. For example, your address and contact numbers. If you click down, we've already looked at the two options that are available in Organize Email. So if you go to the Settings option, you'll see there's a series of tabs along here, various different sections where you can edit the settings for. In Mail, which is the default one, you can set a signature. You can set that to automatically include that on any that you send. It's very similar to an Outlook itself. You've got all the formatting options along there. You can adjust your message format, so you can turn on these two options here. So when you send a new email, it'll give you the option box for the blind carbon copy, as well as the options to choose which email address you're sending it from if you've got access to send from more than one account. Again, you've got default options here. So for the message options, so if you've got the client open, you can set it so it will play a sound when new items arrive or display notifications. And very similar to the options that you have in Outlook itself. There's also a few view options over here, so you can set it to view emails in conversation view as opposed to individual. You can also adjust the options for the reading pane and whether you want to send read receipts. Again, if you wanted the calendar option, we won't save any changes made there. You see it's much the same. You can adjust the appearance, how your reminders work. And again, you can set week numbers so they're shown in month view. You can choose what you class as the first day of the week, and whether you want to show hours in 15-minute or 30-minute increments. Some of you may notice you've also got an option here for text messaging notifications. Unfortunately, that's not an option that's available in the UK. It's only available in 3 countries at present. So again, there's a few other small options here. In the general settings, you can choose whether you want it to resolve names by the global address list or by your personal contacts list. If you have poor vision, there are also accessibility options. So you can turn on the blind and low vision experience. This will sort of simplify the view, make it a little bit easier for you to see. Again, in the sent item options, you can choose where you want mail to go. So any mail that you send will go into your own mailbox by default. But again, you've also got this option here. So if you're sending mail on behalf of someone, you can choose for it to go into your own mailbox or into the mailbox which the email was sent from. Still options in regional, so you can adjust your country, time format, various things like that. And again, this option here takes you to the bit that we had the shortcut for earlier for changing your password. Last thing I'm going to show you is in the phone section. Now, if you go into phones, you've got an option here for mobile phones. And what this does is, as you can see here, it shows you any devices that are currently synchronized with this account. You can call up the details. So as you can see, I've got a mobile phone here. It's an Android phone. It's a Sony phone that's currently set up to get emails from this account. Now, when you set up emails on your account, on your mobile device, you get a security warning and you have to approve administrator access to the Exchange server. That's so that should you lose your phone, you've got this here, wipe device. If you select that, it will give you a prompt saying, are you sure you want to wipe your device? After the device wipe is complete, remove it from the list. In this instance, I'm not going to go through with this as I don't want to wipe this device. But what this will do is it won't just clear the emails, it will actually set the device back to factory settings. So say you've lost a device, you've got lots of personal information on there, lots of work information. This is a very useful feature as you can go on there, set this, and then it will send a trigger to the device, which will wipe anything. Just cancel that one there. It'll wipe anything on the device as soon as it next gets a command when it connects to the internet. That concludes this webinar on Outlook Web Access. If you've got any questions on this, please contact our support team and we'll be happy to help. Many thanks. Bye.